Hi everyone, my name is Lindsay and this is my self-introductory / brown bag speech. Throughout the course of my speech today, I'm going to talk about how I have a passion for teaching and how I work at Atlantic Shores, which reintegrates that I have a passion for teaching. I'm going to speak on working at my church and serving as the lead teacher in the preschool department. And lastly, I'm going to talk about my love for the Lord and how it has just grown over the years throughout the course of my life. So that's the introductory to my speech, and I hope you guys enjoy it. Growing up, I never would have thought that I would have a passion for teaching. I come from a family of 8 kids, and so with that, you're always surrounded by children, and you're always surrounded by your kids. And after a while, it gets pretty hectic and chaotic, and I never thought that it would be the life for me. I never envisioned that that would be something that I would want to do. And then my freshman year of college, I was undecided on what I wanted to major in. I didn't really know. I thought I wanted to be a communications major, but to be honest, I get nervous making speeches, and with communications, you have to do a lot of speaking and a lot of public speaking. So I realized that wasn't really what I wanted to do. And then I got my job at Atlantic Shores Christian School in September of 2014, and I realized from then that I just had a passion for teaching. The reason why I wanted to give a speech is because, in all honesty, I don't know any of you. I've never seen you, and I haven't really talked to you. And I just wanted you guys to get a little glimpse of what I'm like outside of the school realm and outside of being on paper. I wanted you guys to get to see what I'm truly like and what my life is all about. Firstly, I'd like to talk about working in Atlantic Shores Christian School. The badge that I have to wear. It helps me get into the building and that helps parents to see that I am the teacher, and that way they don't have to be worried about where their kids are going. Basically, what I do at Atlantic Shores is I get there at 6:30 in the morning, and I'm with the kids from 6:30 until I line them up to go to class at 8:05. And what I do is I'm basically with the children, and I play with them, or I read them stories, or we just play the little games that their imagination has. And sometimes I have to hold the kids because I work with the 3-year-olds, and right now the 3-year-olds are transitioning into going to school full-time as to just going with their moms every day. So getting to be with the children, it's just been a blessing in my life, and getting to love on them and show them that I care for them and that I can be a role model for them to look up to is something that I really value and something that I really cherish in my life. And so basically what I do, I don't really have like a set routine in my classroom, but I do make sure that I reintegrate the rules of the class and just how we are supposed to act. Like the way they act in school is the same way that they're supposed to act outside of school. So those rules don't change just because they're with a different teacher or just because they're not in school. And then once I line them up, lining them up is pretty hard because it is hard to get 15 3-year-olds to get in a nice straight line, to remember having their hands at their sides, and remember to have a bubble in their mouth. So that's personally been something that God's working on my patience with. But I love it because I get to teach them, we don't talk in the hall, we have to have a bubble, and we have to be quiet like ninjas. So it's just been so fun getting to see them enjoy actually having to line up and getting to go to class. Next, I'm going to talk about working at my church and working as the lead teacher in the preschool department. And this is the badge that I have to wear for that because, again, parents like to be comfortable and they like to know that their kid is going to be in safe hands. And basically what I do for the serve team is I have to get there at 9 in the morning, and I get my classroom set up. And normally that just entails getting toys out, but for my church it's a little bit different because our church is based out of a high school. So we have to push all the desks out of the way, and we have to get the classroom set up. I have to put the floor that we use down, and it's really just a mat with a bunch of puzzle pieces that all go together, and it's foam. So that way if the kids were to fall down or trip, they're not going to get hurt, and we don't have to worry about any boo-boos, any bleeding, nothing. And so from there, then I start to get the children, and the children start coming from 10:30 to 10:50. And when they come in, I have to check them in, so I have to look at their name tag and write down their number. So in case something were to happen where their parents need them, I can give that number to the service coordinator, and she'll put it up on the screen for the parents to see. After I check them in, we start to do praise and worship. And with praise and worship, we only do 2 songs because with little kids, it is hard to keep their attention for more than 10 minutes at a time. So what we do is we have these two songs that are fun and upbeat, and I let them dance around and I let them just sing the song and get ready for the day. And once we do our praise and worship, we go into our Bible lesson, and I teach them. Each month we have a different theme, and this month's theme is that God keeps his promises. And so what I taught about last week, I taught them the story of Esther. And so I read them the Bible story. We have this big book, and it just has the Bible story on it. And I show them the story, and then I ask them questions about what they're reading, like who's Esther, what did Esther do for God, and how did God help in Esther's life, and things like that. And from the Bible story, we then go into the lesson, or not the lesson, we go into the craft. And with the craft, most of the time it's just coloring pictures. We're just starting to get more things to do for crafts, like to paint or to use popsicle sticks and make different things. So right now it's just been coloring. But even with that, I ask them questions about Esther. I ask them questions about the story that we read. So that way they still know that who Esther is or who Abraham was, and they still know that God keeps his promises. So it's just something little that helps keep their minds off of missing mommy and daddy and helps them learn the lessons about God, just like their parents are learning lessons about God in the Big People Church. And lastly, I want to talk about my love for the Lord, and this is my Bible, and honestly, I didn't have a strong relationship with God until I was 15, and basically, it was kind of like an up and down roller coaster. I went to church my whole life, but I didn't really find a love for God until I was 15, and I experienced a lot of hardship in my life, but my parents divorced when I was 15, and that was really hard because no one saw it coming. So it was kind of like a blind side. And I just felt like God wasn't really present and wasn't really there, and he just didn't care, is what I thought, until my friend encouraged me to go to this youth conference, and I went to it, and I just felt like God spoke to me, and he said, no matter what, I'll always be there for you, and I'll always have your back. And so since then, I would like to say that my relationship with God was perfect and on track, but to be honest, sometimes it got worse, and sometimes it was on track. It was kind of like a roller coaster. But until last year, my first year of college, I met this guy, and we had a relationship for about 6 months, and he turned out to be someone that was not good for me and someone that lied, and it hurt to realize that someone that I loved could lie, or could be someone that they weren't. And instead of turning back to my old ways where I would shut God out, I turned to God, and I clung to God, and I was like, God, dude, this is the only way I'm going to get through this, is if you help me. And by turning to God, I realized that God's always going to be there for me no matter what, and I just have to lean on him. And so that's how I'm a sold-out Christian, and I serve God, and I just want people to realize that no matter what you go through, God is always with you. And I think one of the best quotes I've ever heard was, the best life you can live is a life sold out for God, and that is so true. And ever since turning my life over to God, I've seen so many blessings come my way that wouldn't have been able to come had I not turned my life to God, like getting a bunch of scholarships for college and getting the job at Shores and the job at my church. So it's just been great. Well, I just hope you guys got to learn a little bit about myself and my passion for teaching and my passion for the Lord. And that's all I got for today. So thank you.